Hey, what's up everybody? Hammerheart Metal Reviews here once again. Today I'm kicking off a brand new series where I'm going to be counting down my favorite albums from a specific subgenre in metal. So I figured what better way to start off this series than to just talk about traditional metal. So that's a very loose term. There could be a lot of different styles kind of encompassed within that broad definition, but basically this will include like new wave of British heavy metal, new wave of traditional heavy metal, just like classic heavy metal, epic heavy metal. It's definitely going to be some like borderline choices in here that might like border on hard rock or maybe cross some subgenres into some other subgenres. But yeah, I just figured that this would be a lot of fun to try to pick out my favorite albums by a given genre. With that being said, I am limiting this to one album per band. Otherwise, I mean, if I do a top 25 of traditional metal albums that are my favorite, there'd probably be like 5 or 6 Iron Maiden albums in there. Well, what's the point of doing that? So yeah, just limiting it to one album per band. My plan is that I'm going to do all the different subgenres, as many as I can anyway, so I'll do my favorites from like thrash, speed metal, prog metal, death metal, melodic death metal, power metal, black metal, doom metal. Gonna do my favorites in each of those subgenres. Don't know if I'll do a top 25 in each. I mean, when I get to black metal, I'll probably do at least a top 50, maybe even a top 100, because that is my favorite subgenre of metal. But anyways, I'm getting off track here. That's just something you can look forward to down the road. But for today, I'm just going to be talking about my favorite 25 traditional metal albums. I will say that this is just my favorites at this moment in time. This list is sure to change. Like you'll see on this list, there's a lot of older classic albums, but then I've tried to sprinkle in a few newer albums as well, just to give them a spotlight. Not necessarily saying that these albums are better than some other classics that I'm not including on this list, but they're just ones that I'm listening to more right now that I feel like I want to talk about. So yeah, there's going to be a good mix of a lot of old classics and then some newer stuff. If you don't see a classic album that you love on this list, it doesn't mean I don't like it. This is just, like I said, at this moment in time, what I consider to be my favorites that I've been listening to. So let's kick this off. So kick it off at number 25 with a newer one. These guys are from Canada, and I'm talking about Traveler with their self-titled album from 2019. So these guys do have 2 full lengths now, but I feel like the debut self-titled one that I'm talking about was a little bit better than the follow-up. Nothing against the follow-up, but yeah, these guys are definitely in the like new wave of traditional heavy metal. Definitely a very expanding scene. Tons of bands on this scene right now, and actually lots from my homeland of Canada as well. And yeah, this is just really awesome stuff. Great guitar riffs, great vocals, really catchy songs. Favorite tracks on here, probably Starbreaker, Speed Queen is really awesome to close the album off. So if you haven't heard Traveler before, definitely go check them out. Up next at 24, I'm going with something a little more old and classic, but maybe a little bit of an unknown band, Warlord, with their album And the Cannons of Destruction Have Begun. So this is some classic US heavy metal. Really underrated band. I mean, they put out an EP and then they put out this full length, which was basically like a live off the floor recording of a bunch of their material. Then they were on a long break, got back together, put out some maybe so-so stuff, but this album is just absolutely stellar stuff. Really solid metal if you're just into the classic heavy metal sound. Really catchy songs. Child of the Damned, just go check out that song. Fucking kicks so much ass. And that's why this album's in at number 24. Up next at number 23, I'm going with another newer one, very underrated and probably unknown band, Galaxy, with their album On the Shore of Life. This album just actually came out last year in 2021. It did make my best top 50 of the year, but I haven't really talked about it too much other than those couple minutes that I mentioned on my channel, so I figured let's talk about it again because this one's been in constant rotation for me. Just really awesome stuff. This band kind of combines like old school 70s era Judas Priest and early Mercyful Fate and kind of do their own thing with it. The vocals are going to be an acquired taste for sure, kind of mixing Rob Halford and King Diamond together, but I find it really works. The songs are just really awesome here. Really solid stuff. Favorite tracks, Valentine, Gemini. And if you haven't heard these guys, definitely go give this album a listen. Super underrated and very awesome. Up next at number 22, sticking with newer stuff and going back to my homeland of Canada, going with Riot City and their album Burn the Night, which was from 2019. So this is some more new wave of traditional heavy metal, kind of mixed with like speed metal. Definite Judas Priest worship here, but really executed so well. The vocals are really on point and the guitar is amazing. Best tracks on here, Warrior of Time, and the title track, Burn the Night, is great too. I believe these guys have a new album coming out this year, so I'm going to be stoked to hear that. But if you have not heard Riot City before, definitely go check out this album. Up next at number 21, I'm going very old school. This is possibly the oldest album I have on this list. One of the founding fathers of heavy metal. Arguably, is this even heavy metal? Might be just hard rock. I'm going with Deep Purple and their album Deep Purple in Rock. So this is just an all-time classic. It's from 1970, so much before I was even born. But yeah, what can you say about this? Like, heavy metal wouldn't be what it is today without a band like this. And if you haven't heard this before, go listen to Child in Time, like a 10-minute epic on here. Absolutely awesome, classic stuff. I mean, this could even be higher, but for right now, it's in at number 21. Up next at number 20, I'm going with some new wave of British heavy metal and Satan, with their album Court in the Act. Just with the debut by these guys, they're still kicking to this day, been around a long time, more of an underrated new wave of British heavy metal group. But yeah, this album just kicks ass. The song Trial by Fire, absolutely amazing. The guitar riffs are great, the vocals are great. Everything you want in new wave of British heavy metal album, just executed. Really awesome stuff. Up next at number 19, going with some more newer stuff with Eternal Champion and their debut album, The Armor of Ire. So this one is from 2016. This is more in the like epic heavy metal vein. Definitely would get grouped in as like new wave of traditional heavy metal, but all these genre tags, it's hard to keep track of. You just like what you like, and this is just some classic epic heavy metal. Really awesome stuff. Go listen to the song I Am the Hammer. Just, you'll be singing along instantly. Great fucking riffs, and just hit some really great high notes, but then the chorus is so catchy. I am the hammer. It's fucking awesome. Up next at number 18, going with Omen and their album Warning of Danger. So this is some traditional heavy metal from USA. This album's from 1985. Just really awesome stuff. I mean, arguably, like these guys maybe get labeled as like power metal, but to me, this is like pre-power metal. This is still very much just traditional classic heavy metal, but really awesome stuff. The title track, Warning of Danger, is going to stick in your head for sure. Front to back, just really solid album all the way through. Definitely deserved a spot on this list. Up next at number 17, I'm going with Grim Reaper. This was hard for me to pick which album I wanted to talk about because I really like See You in Hell, but I think the album I'm putting on here is Rock You to Hell, their third and final album, which is from 1987. I just feel like the songwriting is a little bit better on this album, even though the youthful energy on the debut is pretty much unmatched. But yeah, I'm going with Rock You to Hell. Really solid new wave of British heavy metal. Steve Grimmett's vocals are absolutely top-notch. That's the selling point on this band. If you're into high-pitched, great vocals, definitely go check out Grim Reaper. Best songs on here, the title track, Rock You to Hell, just super catchy. When Heaven Comes Down, absolutely awesome song as well. Really solid stuff. That's why it's in at 17. Up next at number 16, going with some more newer stuff, and Enforcer with their album Diamonds from 2010. So these guys started out as more of like a speed metal band, but had a lot of like traditional heavy metal in their sound as well. I really enjoyed them over the course of their first few albums. The direction they took on their last album, I wasn't a huge fan of, to be honest. Hopefully when they put out a new album, it will go back to how they were before. But yeah, this album is their second album, I believe, and just really awesome stuff. Still has that speed metal edge to it, but really more just in the traditional heavy metal vein, and just really great guitar work, catchy ass choruses, really great stuff. Best songs on here, Midnight Vice, Running in Menace. Just all in all, super enjoyable album. That's why I put it on this list. Now into the top 15. Coming at number 15, I'm going with the legend Ozzy Osbourne and his second album, Diary of a Madman from 1981. So, I mean, yeah, this doesn't really need any introduction. Everyone knows Ozzy. This is my favorite Ozzy album. Just classic heavy metal. Randy Rhoads still shredding on the guitar here. And just really great classic songs on this album. Over the Mountain, probably my favorite Ozzy song ever. The title track, Diary of a Madman, is also really awesome. All in all, Ozzy had to be on this list. This is my favorite album by him, and it just cracked the top 15. Up next at number 14, I'm going with Viigoth and their debut album, The Revenant King. So this is some epic heavy metal, might get grouped in as like new wave of traditional heavy metal. Features Jake Rogers from Caladan Brood and Gallowbraid on lead vocals, but doesn't sound anything like those bands for sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love those bands even more, but that's not what this video is about. He's just a really awesome vocalist. And yeah, this is more like classic epic heavy metal in the vein of like Manowar, Manila Road, stuff like that. It's really got a nice baritone voice going on and just really fantastical lyrical themes. Really amazing stuff, even for a newer album. This one stands the test of time. Like, it's already 7 years old. This is from 2015, and I still listen to this all the time. Best songs on here: Dungeon Master, From the Arcane Mists of Prophecies, an epic closer. Really solid stuff. One of my favorite modern, like, traditional heavy metal bands, easily, and that's why they are this high on the list. Up next at number 13, I'm going with another legend, Dio, and his album Dream Evil. So you may be saying, why isn't Holy Diver on here? Well, yeah, that easily could be. Holy Diver is probably my second favorite Dio album, but Dream Evil from 1987, I should have said. To me, I rank this one a little bit higher. Just feel like the peaks are a little higher, like on All the Fools Sailed Away. That's probably my favorite Dio song ever. The title track, Dream Evil, is absolutely awesome. But yeah, if you put Holy Diver on this list, I wouldn't say anything about that. That's probably considered more of a classic album, but these are my favorite traditional metal albums, so I'm going with Dream Evil, and it's in at number 13. Up next at number 12, I'm going with Angel Witch and their self-titled debut album. This is from 1980. This is some new wave of British heavy metal. Got that classic sound, great guitar melodies, great vocals, and just really catchy songs with a bunch of hooks. The title track, Angel Witch, you will not be able to help yourself but sing along instantly. You're an angel witch. You're an angel witch. It's just fucking awesome. Atlantis is another great song. Front to back, just really solid debut album. That's why it's in at number 12. Up next at number 11, I am going with Running Wild and their album Death or Glory. This is from 1989. These guys are from Germany. Definitely the pioneers of like pirate metal, but it's not as like cheesy as some bands these days that play in pirate metal. This is more just traditional heavy metal mixed with speed metal, maybe considered power metal as well, but like in the grand scheme of things, I consider them more of a traditional heavy metal band than a power metal band. But yeah, this album is probably their best. I haven't done a ranking for Running Wild yet. I will at some point, but this one will definitely be near the top, but it's the one that stands out in my mind as being their best. Battle of Waterloo, absolutely amazing, epic. Renegade is a solid song. All in all, the riffs on this album just steal the show. Like, based on riffs alone, this could even be way higher on this list. Really solid stuff. Just missing out on the top 10, but number 11 ain't too shabby. So now let's get into the top 10, my favorite 10 traditional heavy metal albums at this given moment. So in at number 10, I'm going with Manowar and their album Hail to England. This is easily my favorite Manowar album. This is definitely like US traditional heavy metal, true heavy metal. Maybe in their later days they became more of a power metal band, but at this stage they were still just playing like straight ahead traditional heavy metal. And I know they get a lot of flack for maybe being cheesy and stuff like that, but honestly, you go listen to these early albums, I just absolutely love them, especially this album, Blood of My Enemies, the title track Hail to England, Each Dawn I Die. Eric Adams' vocals are so amazing. Ross the Boss's guitar work is fucking great too. And these songs are just catchy. They stand the test of time. Really solid album. That's why it's in at number 10. Up next at number 9, I'm going with Manila Road and their album The Deluge from 1986. So Manila Road's definitely gone through a lot of different phases throughout their career. Like at some points they were like a thrash band. They've incorporated death metal. They started out more of like a prog, space rock kind of band. But in their best era, they were just like straight ahead traditional heavy metal, epic heavy metal, maybe a precursor to US power metal. And in my opinion, this is their best album. Just every song on here really hits the mark. Shadow in the Black, absolutely amazing. Hammer of the Witches, burn them all. Just fucking awesome. Friction in Mass, another really solid one. Isle of the Dead. Every song on here just really hits it. And solid stuff. I could have almost put this higher than 9, but every album that I'm going to be talking about now is fucking insane. This top 10 was like impossible to rank. Any of these could be switched around in any spot. I mean, if I did this ranking again tomorrow, I'm sure I would have a completely different order. But for today, Manila Road's in at number 9. Up next at number 8, I'm going with the Legends Judas Priest and their album Sad Wings of Destiny. So this is my favorite Judas Priest album. This is from my favorite era of the band in the 70s. This is from 1976. And yeah, this is just a standout album in my opinion. Solid stuff for early heavy metal. Like Victim of Change is one of their best songs ever. The Ripper, Dreamer, Deceiver. Come on. This is just a fucking all-time classic. Easily my favorite Judas Priest album and easily making the top 10 on this list. Up next at number 7, I'm going with Cirith Ungol and their album King of the Dead. This one is from 1984. This is some classic heavy metal, definitely a lot of doom metal influence in there as well. But this is just an all-time classic, very underrated band, very unique band. Like no one else sounds like this. They incorporate a lot of different stuff in there, and their vocalist, Tim Baker, is like so recognizable, so unique. Just got like a banshee wail. It sounds out of control, but it suits the music so well. I know some people probably aren't going to like Cirith Ungol based on the vocals alone, but if you're into that kind of singing, you will absolutely love it. And these songs are just unreal. This album it's fucking awesome. Best songs on here, the title track, King of the Dead. Finger of Scorn is another lengthy, really good one. All in all, like this album's just a fucking classic. I got the poster of it right there. I got a shirt of it too. Just absolutely solid album in at number 7. Up next at number 6, going with the originators, Black fucking Sabbath, and their album Master of Reality. So this one is from 1971. This is probably my favorite Black Sabbath album. It's definitely a hard choice, may change from day to day. But yeah, if I'm thinking my favorite like traditional heavy metal albums, Sabbath has to be here, and they have to be high. They started the genre, and this is one of their best. Favorite tracks on here, Into the Void, possibly my favorite Sabbath song ever. Lord of This World, Children of the Grave, just the whole thing. This whole album fucking rules. That's what's in number 6. Now we're into the top 5. My top 5 favorite traditional heavy metal albums of all time. So just cracking the list at number 5, another one I got a poster of down there, Mercyful Fate with Don't Break the Oath from 1984. Oh, this was so tough to even put at number 5. I kind of wanted to put this even higher, but very, very difficult here. Yeah, what can you say about Mercyful Fate? King Diamond's vocals are absolutely amazing. Very unique, one of a kind with that falsetto. So this is kind of like new wave of British heavy metal, but sped up and putting their own spin on it. They're just a really one of a kind band, especially their early era. Their first couple albums and their EP, just so fucking amazing. Best tracks on here, Come to the Sabbath, Desecration of Souls, The Oath, but really the entire goddamn album slays. So if you've somehow never heard Mercyful Fate, go listen to Don't Break the Oath right goddamn now. Up next at number 4, another one that I have a poster of. There might be a theme here. But yeah, I am going with Rainbow and their album Rising. So this is from 1976, absolute classic album. Maybe this is more in the hard rock vein than heavy metal, but I feel like this is a precursor to power metal, and there's enough metal in there that it's making this list. I mean, of course, you had Richie Blackmore from Deep Purple on guitar and Ronnie James Dio on vocals before he was in Black Sabbath, before he went solo. And this is just the album that really put them on the mark. It's not their debut. The debut is pretty solid too, but this really took it up a notch. Really solid riffs. And of course, Dio's vocals are amazing. Best songs on here, Terra Woman, Stargazer, all-time classic. Come on, like this album could be number 1 on this list easily, but for today it's at number 4. A Light in the Black, a really another awesome song to close it out. Absolutely stellar hard rock / metal album. If you haven't heard Rainbow Rising, do yourself a favor and go listen to it. Up next at number 3, another one that I have a poster of and that I'm wearing the shirt of, Heavy Load with their album Death or Glory. Second album titled Death or Glory on this list. Running Wild's album was titled that as well, but this one came out first. Heavy Load, Death or Glory from 1982. So this is arguably Sweden's first heavy metal band, and they just perfected the heavy metal sound. Their debut album was maybe a little rough around the edges, but then by the time this sophomore album came out, top-notch songwriting, catchiest choruses you will ever hear. The guitar licks are going to stick in your head. These songs are so catchy, and it's just amazing. This is a masterclass in how to write a catchy heavy metal album. Every song on here really hits the mark. best songs though. The Guitar Is My Sword, probably my favorite Heavy Load song. Heavy Metal Angels, really great. Something New. All in all, front to back, one of my favorite albums of all time. That's why I say at number 3. So that leaves 2 more. Let's see what it's going to be. Coming in at number 2, I am going with King Diamond and this album, Abigail. So this is from 1987, after King Diamond left Mercyful Fate, started his own band, and this was their sophomore output, and this is pretty much perfection. Not really too many albums in any genre that are better than this album, in my opinion. Just fucking guitar riffs galore. Like, the riffs and solos on this album will blow your fucking mind. Some people might not like King Diamond's vocals, but just listen to the musicianship on this album. And if that doesn't blow you away, then I don't know what to say, really, because it's just insane. But I love King Diamond's vocals. They suit this so well. This is one of the first like full concept albums that really hit the mark, telling a story all the way through. And every song on here is just perfection. Arrival, Abigail, Black Horseman, A Mansion in Darkness. Like, this could be number 1. This is like hands down one of the best albums of all time. But for today, I've got it at number 2. So that just leaves 1, my favorite traditional heavy metal album. Of course, if you've watched this channel before, you know my love for Iron Maiden, especially the 80s era. So, yeah, Iron Maiden's going to be in at number 1. Just hard for me not to put it here. What album am I going to pick? Well, my favorite Iron Maiden album is Power Slave, which is from 1984. So that is what I am putting as my favorite traditional heavy metal album for today. So this has just got that classic new wave of British heavy metal sound, but every song on here is just amazing. Aces High, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariners, probably my favorite Maiden song ever. Power Slave, another just absolutely stellar song. Like, come on, this album is really top notch, almost a 10 out of 10, if not a 10 out of 10. Another one that's basically perfection. So yeah, that's why it is in at number 1. So anyways, these are just my opinions as usual. Like I said, I had to leave a lot of really classic bands off this list because it's only 25 and it's just my opinions for today. And I really felt like I wanted to throw in some newer bands as well, not just all older bands, to kind of just talk about my love of current traditional heavy metal bands as well. So anyways, let me know which bands I've missed down below, which ones you're surprised I didn't talk about. Let me know your picks as well for some of your favorite albums, even by these same bands. If you think I should have put a different album on there, whatever. Just love to get conversations going on this, and you can look forward to my next edition in this series, probably next month. I haven't decided which genre I will do next, but I will certainly do one very soon. So anyways, until next time, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Hammer Heart Metal Reviews out.